What makes measuring learning impact difficult?
I think for me, one of the things is there's never just one variable. You're not just training people, you're putting them into the workplace. There's so many things going on. And so it's hard to both take the credit when it's going well, and it's also not entirely fair to take the blame that the training didn't work if it doesn't go well, right? It's always a mix.
So what I'm going to ask you to do is to get ready to help me solve a measurement mystery, right? Because I am the L&D detective. I'm going to give you some facts, clues, and evidence that you'll access via a QR code. So you'll need your mobile device to do that. So get ready, guys. Here we go. The core of the work that I do as the L&D detective revolves around the idea that it takes a village to impact workplace performance. I define impact as collective contributions in the workplace performance ecosystem that have potential and power to achieve business goals. So it's not about one team, it's not about one experience, it's about the village. And so the work that I do as the L&D detective is measure the impact of the village. So the L&D detective method has 4 frameworks and tools. The L&D detective method is a great solution, I believe, for measuring across different types of topics and content areas. So the question is, have I used the L&D detective to measure the impact of the village on leadership, leadership skills, leadership capabilities? The answer to that question is absolutely yes.
We've got a case study for you. In the chat is a PDF. It has all of the instructions. So please, right now, just pause for a moment, go in there and into the chat and download that document. Okay, yep, we're going to go 15 minutes.
So it took me a little while to get it going. And what I finally ended up doing was just, instead of trying to load those, I had to copy and paste those documents in, and then that worked well. So what it did was, at first I didn't have those files in, so I just decided it would give me an answer anyway and tell me how it could help me if I would just give it the files. You know, it did come down here and do an analysis, as you can see.
Yeah.
And then it gave me recommendations at the end.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, there you go.
Our group went through it, and what we noticed right off the top, Eduardo uses Copilot, I used ChatGPT, and we had various responses. They were different, and that was interesting. And I think Eduardo's was a little more comprehensive. I think we didn't go through all the details, but that was our first impression. But it's really interesting just to see how it came out. And so, yeah, obviously so quickly. This saves tons of time, obviously, and there's a lot of in-depth insight on this. So I really appreciate it. It was really interesting.
I think it is, it is a powerful tool that helps you get up and started really quickly. I think combined with the human wisdom that brings to the table, that's what makes all the difference. It's not just what's there, but what's missing. And how do we bring our lived experiences with domain expertise inside of it? Just as we said, AI is dependent upon the data that it has access to, or the frameworks you fed it, or how you've trained it. Just the same way for humans in that perspective. And said, probably the hardest skill set on this is not only to benefit from the value of this, but also how do we critically think our way through the response to really give something that's going to yield true results.
I suspect that a lot of work in operations and the business functions is not as clearly metric driven as we might wish. And so one of the things I'm thinking about as I reflect on this is, what can I do as a partner in order to show up in a way where we're discovering this together, as opposed to like, well, you've got this answer and you're not sharing this data with me. Why are you closing me out? I hope I don't come across that way, but I feel like earlier in my career, like it felt a little bit more confrontational, or just like I was being shut out of the conversation. And the reality is that oftentimes there is lost about this and we're trying to figure it out together.